Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another meal prep. We're going to jump right into our first lunch or dinner. I'm going to kind of have these interchangeably, and this is a club in a tub. For this recipe, I'm going to be using some diced chicken breast. So you just need any kind of chicken breast. This will also be really good with rotisserie chicken. The original recipe does not call for chicken, but I added it in there for extra protein. Some deli turkey, some cheese, tomatoes, some sort of pasta. I'm using the chickpea higher protein pasta. And for your dressing, you're going to need some Italian dressing and mayo. Now, I am weighing out by grams with my pasta. I ended up weighing out 2 servings for the pasta, but that was way too much because I only wanted to use a half of a cup, which ended up being about an ounce. So 1 serving of this pasta is 2 ounces, which is about a cup cooked. So 2 ounces dry is about 1 cup cooked pasta. And I end up using a half of a cup for each of these. So I just wanted to add a little bit of texture to these. You can definitely not add pasta or use like a low carb pasta, whatever you'd like for this. Next out, we're gonna weigh out our cheese. So like I said, I'm trying to be really good with weighing things out, measuring things out. So I weighed out 2 servings of cheese. So that's 2 ounces of cheese. And then next up, we're going to weigh out our chicken. So I just did the serving size of the chicken for this, and I thinking now, after I've already had this, which it is very good, by the way, I can give you 5 stars for this recipe. I would have done a little bit more chicken to kind of add in more protein to this, but I went ahead and just weigh out the chicken, and then we're going to weigh out our deli turkey. So I just did 2 ounces of the turkey, which was a serving for this type of turkey, and I'm just using the Great Value ultra thin sliced turkey. And then after we get all that done, I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of weighing out. I'm making 2 of these. So I'm going to do 2 of these, 2 of the other recipe, and then I have a couple of dinners planned. And this is just going to make sure I have lunches this week for all 4 days of my, my lunches for work. For the dressing, I'm going to do 1 tablespoon, so equivalent in grams, 1 tablespoon of light mayo. And then I'm going to do equivalent of 2 tablespoons of this light Olive Garden dressing. And this just kind of makes a nice creamy, like Italian dressing to go with this. And because I'm using pasta instead of like some sort of shredded lettuce, which if you want to, like I said, keep this lower carb, you could use a low carb pasta or you could use some sort of lettuce or something. But I would just recommend if you do the lettuce that you don't put the dressing in it. So I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, measure out 2 of those, so I can have this for 2 days. So by doing this too, it's really easy to just kind of throw together these meal preps. I always try to like have everything weighed out ahead of time before I start assembling them, because then it just makes assembling them go so much quicker. This type of dressing is like one of my favorites, like adding in like a creamy with that Italian dressing. It is so good, but you can definitely leave it out if you want to kind of lower the fat and calories on this, but this actually doesn't come out to very many calories as you saw in the beginning of this. So as I said, I'm using a half of a cup of pasta, so I'm putting that in my bowl, adding in both my proteins. So we have our chicken and our deli sliced turkey. I went ahead and took each ounce of cheese and I diced it up into, I did 8 little cubes, so I knew which ones how many to grab. And then I'm just putting in 5 of these are the cherry bombs or ruby rose, whatever they have there at Kroger. And I am adding in a little bit of this seasoning from Trader Joe's, just a kind of like an Italian garlic seasoning. And then I'm just adding in that dressing, and we're going to give that a good stir. I meant to add in, so I did have this for lunch today, the day that I'm doing this voiceover. And I wanted to add in lettuce, shredded lettuce and avocado in there, and I completely forgot that I wanted to do that. I was so hungry today at lunchtime that I honestly just pulled that out of the fridge, filmed it real quick, and just scarfed it down. And it is such a good recipe, but it could definitely, I think it would be really good with the avocado and a little bit of lettuce to this. Now I am adding in some bacon bits to this as well. Now I'm just going to make the second one in that same bowl, because you know what? We're not going to dirty up extra dishes, because why would we do that, right? So we're going to go ahead and just toss everything else in there. I think this is a really good base recipe, and you could definitely add in more things to it. But like I said, this was so good. It had the perfect texture of the little bit of pasta in there, and that dressing was just nice and tangy, but also creamy, which made it so nice. So This was a really good recipe, and I will definitely be making this more often. I will put the pin down below for I found it from Pinterest. I think the only thing I did differently, like I said, I add the chicken in there. It just had deli turkey. It did not call for chicken, but I just wanted to have that extra protein. But I will go ahead and put that down in the description box. But like I said, I already had this. It's really good. Highly recommend. And I do feel like it's pretty low for the portion size that I used of the carbs. I think it still ended up being around 20 carbs or so, but I did put all the information in the beginning of this section. And here are my 2 club in the tub. Like I said, I did plan on adding that avocado in there, but I forgot. So when I have this again, I will definitely be adding that avocado in, because I think it would have just added just that next like level of deliciousness. Next up is going to be a Fiesta chicken chopped salad. Now, I love a chopped salad. So here you have that same chicken breast. We have some spinach, some salsa, cilantro, cheese, red onion, some jalapenos, some Southwest corn, and some black beans. Now, I'll try to get the no salt added black beans whenever I can. The one thing you don't see here is I did also grab some romaine lettuce out of the refrigerator. I forgot to bring that here in the beginning of this, but you're going to see that in this next little clip. We are going to take a big bowl. Actually, you'll see that I'm changing bowls here in a second because this one wasn't big enough. So I'm just putting some romaine in there. I'm going to put a good healthy amount of spinach in there. And this is like one of the only ways too that I can eat spinach is by making a chopped salad. So I put it in a bigger bowl. We're just going to add our spinach. Now you're going to see here I'm not chopping everything up because I have this little chopper thing that I completely forgot that I had. So we're adding in some red onion. We're just adding a good healthy amount of jalapenos. And I am doing 2 servings of this. So I did 2 servings of the cheese. Now this is not going to be exact because of the way I'm making this, but we have 2 servings of the cheese, 2 servings of the chicken, diced up chicken, and this is that chopper. I got it off of Amazon years ago, and I recently found it again. Like, I feel like I find this like every year. I'll find it in my cabinet. I'm like, oh yes, forgot all about that. I actually, if you guys remember, Subway used to have these chopped salads. I don't think they have them anymore, and this is exactly what they used, was one of these types of tools. And they would just sit there and you just chop it until everything is chopped up. You don't have to dice up your cheese. You don't have to dice up your red onion. You just chop it like that and mix it into these little tiny fine small pieces. Now I'm adding in some baked beans and, not baked beans, some black beans and some corn. I just did a 1/4 cup of the black beans and a 1/4 cup of the corn. And then I also added in some salsa, and it's just like a pico de gallo salsa, and I'm just gonna mix that around. Now we are gonna make a dressing for this, but again, since this has lettuce in there and spinach, I didn't wanna add the dressing in it. So I'm just gonna try to make this as even as possible, but like I said, it's gonna be kind of hard to do that because we don't know exactly how much cheese in each one, but it'll even out by the end of the week. But what's nice about this chopped salad, I swear you guys, get one of those little tools. If I remember right, it was only like maybe $10, $15 at the most, but I am going to be using this more often because I forgot how much I missed like having one of those choppers and making a chopped salad. It's just one of my favorite things. These kind of remind me of the salad kits that we buy all the time. I buy those salad kits almost every single week, and this kind of reminds me of the salad kits. That's why I like those salad kits so much, because they're so chopped up so finely. Now we're going to measure out some of these tortilla strips from Walmart. It's just the Walmart brand of the tortilla strips. So I'm weighing those out so we can make sure we are getting our serving size. And I'm just going to do that on each one of those. And because it's not very much and it's not mixed in with the salad, I think it'll be okay in the refrigerator. Sometimes I won't put these types of things on there when I'm meal prepping, and I think it works. And here's the dressing. We're going to use plain non-fat Greek yogurt and some of this Fiesta ranch dip mix. So I am just doing a 1/2 cup total of the plain non-fat Greek yogurt. And then I am just going to do 1 tablespoon of the Fiesta ranch dressing mix. Now, if you cannot find this Fiesta ranch, I never used to be able to find it, and there were so many of you guys that were sending it to me. And I appreciate that so much because this used to be one of my favorite things, but my Walmart started carrying it again. But if you cannot find this, just take some plain regular ranch dressing mix. So just the ranch dressing, regular ranch dressing mix, add a little bit of taco seasoning to it, then to the plain non-fat Greek yogurt, and you'll get the same effect. And this is going to be our dressing for our salad, and it's going to be amazing. So I already tasted it and it was so good. I forgot how long it's been since I've had that. Now, I do plan on adding avocado to this as well. Will I forget? There's a good possibility that I will forget, but I'm going to try to remember. I'm going to put that avocado, now that I'm doing this voiceover, I'm going to go put an avocado on top of my meal prep container so I don't forget to add the avocado to it. I know you can take like a little bit of lime juice and kind of put it on the avocado, but I forgot to do that. Next up, or the last thing we're going to be doing, is some bento snack boxes. So last week I did some really big, like main meal bento boxes, but this week I'm just going to do some snack ones. So we have our sugar snap peas, which I'm obsessed with right now, baby carrots, some mini peppers, some turkey snack sticks, and then of course my favorite hot honey hummus from Walmart. This stuff is amazing. So we're just going to go ahead and just put them all together. So I have these little boxes that I got. I'm sure I got these off of Amazon. I can't think of anywhere else where I would have bought them from. So the turkey sticks, there's 2 turkey sticks as a serving. So I'm just cutting those up into little bite-sized things. I usually eat these when I'm having meetings in the afternoon that I don't really have to participate in, that I can listen to, or ones that, you know, I can kind of snack on quietly and I'm not talking as much. You know, if I'm not leading a meeting, then I usually tend to have my little snack boxes during those. So I'm just going to do 3 of these because I do work in the office 3 days a week and at home 2 days a week. So I just wanted to do 3 of these that I could take one every day this week to work. I am kind of cutting up the mini peppers. These are pretty deep. It's kind of hard to tell, but these are pretty deep, and I think I could fit, I think I end up fitting like 2 of those mini peppers, 2 or 3 of the mini peppers in each one of these. And I fit a lot of sugar snap peas. So I love these little boxes. They're made out of a really nice like plastic, and the lids are so well made. But these are just nice. I'm trying to get more fiber in, trying to get more of those veggies in. And when the weather warms up like it is right now, I like really do start to crave vegetables so much. So that is what I'm trying to do, just increase my veggie intake. So my plan is to kind of make some version of these bento boxes every week. They may be just like this until I run out of my turkey sticks, but I may add like cheese sticks, cheese cubes. Another good thing, to add hard-boiled eggs to this. There's so many things you can add to these little snack boxes with the veggies, and then just adding a little bit of protein to them. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and finish up these boxes. Okay, we're finished putting everything in there, and here are the finished little bento boxes. Don't they look so good? I really enjoyed these today. Again, I had this today, so I can tell you the Club in the Tub and this were really good. So I can recommend, definitely recommend those 2, and I'm sure the Fiesta chicken salad will be just as good. And that is everything for this week's meal prep, you guys. So we have 2 really good lunches, also could be dinners. We have some snacks, and that does it for my meal prep for the week. I will have these 2 things from Pinterest. They were pictures on Pinterest, so I think I can go ahead and link them. If you have a Pinterest account, you should be able to view them. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.